I'm excited to hand this stage off to Frank. In our first session, Built for Everyone, the Modern Intranet in the Age of AI. So the core idea is simple. AI doesn't fix a broken intranet, it amplifies it. So as organizations look toward 2026 and beyond, instant answers only work if the foundation is structured, governed, and trusted. Frank will walk us through the architectural shift from static repository into a verified source of truth, built to serve everyone from the frontline to the boardroom. Frank, over to you.
Great, thanks a lot, Lauren. And the goal for this first session is kind of to set the stage a bit of where we are living in so exciting times, a lot of change coming up, and this is all about the intranet. And what I would love to do is kind of go one step back and discuss, okay, is this a discussion we still should having at all? Is this are intranet still a thing? And if they are a thing, if we are really honest with ourselves, what is the role an intranet should and could have in an age of AI? That's kind of where this is coming from. And I'm doing this from a perspective of, I'm looking at intranets for more than 20 years. And if you've been in the space for more than 20 years, what you've seen is a lot of technology shifts usually have asked the same question. One question could always be like, is the intranet dead? Do we still need one? Or what's kind of the new way an intranet should look like? And when Google came up, people would say, hey, our intranet should actually be just a search engine. When Facebook came up, it was like, isn't an intranet just an internal Facebook and nothing else? And so with every technology shift, and when mobile came up, like what's about the mobile intranet and so on, with every technology shift, we have this kind of rediscovering, is there still a place for the intranet? And how does this place evolve over time? And again, we're asking the question, in the age of AI, does the intranet still matter? And this is what I want to discuss today. And yes, we think it still matters. And I want to give you kind of three directions where we think it still matters, and kind of also there will be more deep dive sessions throughout the day today where I kind of point you to these sessions based on the 3 points that we are discussing here. So if the intranet still matters, or the question, does it still matter? We can kind of ask in a different way and say the intranet is there to serve a company and to serve employees. So the question is, how does the intranet actually help the employee experience, and kind of what still defines a great employee experience, even in the age of AI, even with the fast developments we are seeing right now. So the first one, and maybe like the very obvious point, is in the workforce, and if we talk about employees, there will be big disruptions. There will be changes in specifically impacts in terms of white collar work. That's a big discussion. If you follow the news, if you follow the media, if you follow stock markets, there's a big question like which areas will be impacted. I think one thing we can say for sure, the areas that are least impacted will be the ones, a lot of people on the front lines, people working with their hands, people working directly with customers, people working in plants, in factories, in transportation, and so on. So usually the people that are hardest to reach, often also the people that might not be in scope of the intranet, will be most important moving forward in terms of employee experience, and really getting them as talent that's still very rare, and very people you really want to engage, and people you really want to make happy inside your organization. So there are 3 steps, if you think about employee experience, that will still matter in the future. And the basic one is still efficiency. You still need people to be informed what's going on. And if they have questions around their work, about their role, their job, also their development perspectives, so everything they need to know to do their job is something that we want to give them in a really easy and convenient way. That's number 1. Number 2 is there's a lot of stuff that they might never ask, but we as a company, we want them to know and be aware of. This might be a crisis situation, this might be governance, this might be strategy. So efficiency and awareness are kind of similar, but they are really very much different on a deeper level. And I want to show you what I mean with this and what this means for an intranet and an employee experience platform. And the third one is alignment. And alignment in this sense here can be a lot more, or like it's a pretty broad one. Alignment on one hand is understanding the company strategy and being motivated by the mission, where this is going, and saying, I want to be part of something bigger. But we also know it's not just the mission and the goals and the strategy, it's the people I work with, it's my team, it's my company, it's the culture that really keeps people in places and really engages people. So alignment is around understanding the bigger picture, but also having these sort of shared experiences that we have. And for all three, I want to briefly discuss, like, where are they coming from? What are kind of the challenges we have here? And what's the role of an intranet in the future? And we think that's kind of helps us define a bit of a framework for an intranet moving forward. So if you think about this in an intranet kind of way, for the whole efficiency part, the intranet has got to be a trusted front door for the question employees have. For this awareness part, we need a intranet to be a proactive tool, not just a reactive tool. And for this alignment part, we need an intranet to be very close to people on the one hand, but also kind of have a central governance of, here's the strategy, here's what we want to do, and take this out to everyone. And for intranets, that's a concept that we call governed proximity, because the best intranets, they kind of see the sweet spot between what's the sort of governance and control we need to give, but also what's the freedom into intranet we want to give to local line managers, local editors, and local community managers to really bring people together and not just technology. So this is kind of the agenda for now. And now let's look into all these three areas. For the first one, of course, you could say, well, it's pretty easy. We have now the chatbots, and AI works really well. It's replacing Google, and like, we are not searching anymore. We have the chatbot. This is true. But for all the external chatbots, keep in mind that they have a lot of the answers that you are getting already as part of their model. Like, so when I last year went to Venice, and I was saying, I'm looking for a part of Venice where I can stay in a hotel, I don't want too many tourists, and I want walkability to all the key attractions. What could you tell me? It gave me a really good answer, but the answer was already in the model because it was trained on a lot of guides around Venice. That's part of the AI already. The point is, inside the company, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or other models, they don't have training data from inside the company. So everything that's valuable inside the company is something that we need to provide as context. So the whole management of context becomes a core part of the usefulness of AI inside an organization. And the challenge that we have here is that you may say, hey, we have a search function, right? So we ask a question to AI, and AI can then trigger a search, and then we find things, and we give this back in the AI chatbot. The point is, today, search inside an organization is always a challenging part, because we might find conflicting information. We might find different statuses of documents, old documents, draft documents. It's not really sure what's actually correct. And search today, as we've built it, is forgiving, because you see search results, and you can then say, okay, these are the first 10 results to my question. I can scan them through, I can start to filter, and I can start to go in and discover the real answer. The difference is, with AI and an AI chatbot, I ask a question. I might even be in the field and ask it with the audio mode, and I want to have the one answer. I don't want to have 10 potential answers. I want to have one single answer, and I want to rely and trust that answer. So what we have in terms of kind of the discovery of content inside an organization right now is in many ways not enough for an AI to power a real good inside company chatbot. We will have to increase data quality. And as we would say, we have to have a better context quality inside of organizations. So intranets in the future and that's something we see across the line of AI use cases inside organizations, It will not be enough to say, we have existing content. Here's the SharePoint. Here's the Microsoft Graph. Here's the existing huge intranet with thousands of old pages. That's not going to be enough for a chatbot to deliver the quality that users are expecting. What we will have to do is to create AI optimized context, specific AI collections with specific information that help to power a chatbot in a way that it's high quality answers. Technology can help here a lot. Like it's a lot about content governance, keeping content fresh. Intranet gardening will become a much more important part of this. And of course, it's going to be a trade-off between having all the content, like the intranet as a warehouse. That's not going to work anymore. The intranet's going to be has to be a lighthouse with very highly governed data and context to really make this work. So that's kind of the first major changes of an intranet in the era of AI. And we would say it's kind of, the intranet can become something like a knowledge API for the organization. And it's kind of, if you've been around for knowledge management, it's kind of coming back now with a much higher motivation, because we can actually say, hey, intranet as a knowledge base, if it's really good, it's really helpful, because a chatbot can help us to extract that knowledge in the moment when it's needed, and in a very easy way. We will have a session later on, intranets as knowledge APIs, from Kevin and Dean, and they will go much deeper into whole context space in this regard. I want to sum up first point here, for AI intranets. What we believe, they need to go from a content warehouse to a trusted front door. They cannot be the place where all the stuff is put in that you don't know where else to put it. And what's really the core here, these intranets need to have integrations to third-party system, to Microsoft, and to ServiceNow, and to Workday, and other HR tools. That's all correct. But at the core, they need a very good base of curated company knowledge and communication, and quality matters. Quality matters a lot. That's number one. Number two, we're talking about awareness. And I already said, like, awareness is, what's the difference to efficiency? And the difference is, and I like to think about this as a kind of an iceberg model. The difference is, employees will ask specific questions like, what's my pay stub? What is the vacation time off policy, and other things, but they won't ask for things that the company cares about a lot, like compliance rules, specific change projects, company strategy, data and security, and data protection stuff. The company has a big interest that these topics are reaching employees, that employees are aware of it. So we still have pull and push. If you see LinkedIn articles saying AI is all about pull and push is dead, that's entirely not true. And this cannot be the goal. Push is still a big thing where we need to focus on. And this is kind of, there are many use cases for that. Like, one of the key use cases we see also with our customers is the whole area of crisis communication. In a crisis, nobody will go to a chatbot and like say, do we have a crisis? You got to reach out, you got to push things, and they got to know what's going on, like bad weather alerts and so on, cybersecurity attacks and so on. For HR, for communications, having a reliable push channel to as many employees as possible is still a key asset in the organization. A chatbot does not solve that. I think that's an important part here. And what we see is push notifications, they increase reach by 2.6 times, specifically also if they are branded, because they stand out. We've seen this from our own research. So everything that helps to push things out is really helpful in that regard. And everything, and also kind of as a reminder for internal discussions, because a lot of discussions will be around chatbots right now. Push is a huge lever for employee experience, and specifically from a company side of things. And a great intranet will be able to have both. It will answer the question, but it also will make sure push is happening. One particular idea coming with AI, there's new push formats possible. We have one that we call On Air. That's a podcast, a personally created podcast. Think about a automated audio summary briefing for employees, down for every individual employee. This is now possible with AI, and that's amazing thing that we can do in this new era of AI native intranet. So AI is also revolutionizing the way we can think about push. Push should not be intrusive. Push should be feeling personal, relevant, and really tailored down to me and my habits. That's I think that's the key goal here. If you want to see this, there will be an intranet demo for Staffbase at 1:40 today. And Laura will also show On Air as a podcast. And I think that's an amazing tool to look at. So don't miss that one. Last one, alignment. And alignment, I already talked about it. It's a strategic alignment, but also shared experiences with employees. I want to remind you about one thing, and this is kind of, a lot of people are forgetting this. With all the AI, we get more personal and interactive. That's all good, but it's lonely. Like a chatbot is not another human. It doesn't make me feel, if I have an amazing onboarding experience into a company with a personal chatbot, I haven't yet met another person from the company, right? Think about a remote employee, right? So we need to still create shared experiences in organizations, and intranets are the place to do that. There's no other system around to really support that. That's super important. And think about social walls, think about virtual town halls, think about event formats, real event formats that we can support with intranets. Think about news articles, updates where people have a discussion and I feel how others, what are the questions others are asking? What's the sentiment of others? Like, what are the people like that I'm working with? This has to happen also on a digital stage, and the intranet is still that place to create shared experiences. Let's not forget that, and I think that's a super important point in that regard. And one thing I already mentioned, for shared experiences, if you're a large corporation, if you're a couple of 10,000 people or hundreds of thousands of people, it's not the case that you can have these shared experiences on a company and global level all the time. It usually doesn't work. Great intranets, the most engaging intranets that we see, they kind of find the sweet spot between, here's all the central core stuff that you need to understand. Here's also central governance and guidance, but I leave open decentral spaces for local line managers and others to really bring this to life and really have these shared experiences. And like just one statistic here from one of our customers, DHL Group, they're in virtually all countries worldwide. There's like, it's one of the biggest intranets on the planet. And they have a very active program of local engagement and also local empowerment inside the intranet. And since they did this, they see an increase of 55% in engagement of intranet users, because this is so powerful in that regard. We will also, again, have a session today, and I think that's a session that's following right after. We will have an expert panel with great experts with a lot of insights about the intranet as the experience anchor. And I think this is kind of the whole idea that we want to get across here with all the AI, with all the digital stuff that's going on. How can we bring the experience and a lot of the human-to-human experience also into these tools? And that's that's where we want to go. So that was an overview. I hope that was helpful to kind of like 3 major directions that we are thinking about where intranets are going.